Mercedes knows a thing or two about high-performance cars. Anyone who's driven an AMG version of one of the firm's saloon cars will know that. The AMG GT, however, is different. This isn't a car that's simply been breathed on by AMG, which is Merc's performance arm. No, this is a car that's been designed and built by AMG from the ground up. Like any performance car, the GT simply must look the part, and there's little argument from us that it delivers on that score. Even just the dimensions make it look pretty fearsome on their own, with that long bonnet, the squat rear end and the short overhangs. Throw in all those blingy details and curvaceous bulges and you're left with one very aggressive looking machine. From the outside, the car looks pretty much the same, regardless of whether you go for the base model or the more powerful S version we've got here. But there are plenty of additional styling goodies featured on the options list to make you stand out even more. There's just as much drama inside the GT as well. The design is elegant and upmarket, and the materials in here are simply stunning. Most of the car's functions are controlled through this screen and this wheel, and although it's not the most intuitive system of its type, you should be able to get to grips with it pretty easily. That said, I'm not sure why the gear selector is placed awkwardly all the way back here. Being a two-seat sports car, the GT is never going to be the most practical car out there, but the passenger compartment does have plenty of space, the seats are really supportive and have loads of adjustment, and there's enough room in the boot for a few weekend bags. The big question is, has AMG done the business in engineering the GT? Well, if performance is at the top of your priority list, then you better believe it. Beneath the bonnet lies a twin turbocharged 4-litre V8 with 503 brake horsepower and 479 pounds-foot of torque. That makes the car good for 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds at a top speed of 193. But those are just numbers. It's the way this thing piles on the speed that really makes things interesting. Even partial pressure on the throttle gives you a truly savage burst of acceleration, and if you keep your foot in, it is just relentless. The engine works really well with the 7-speed twin-clutch gearbox as well, and as you can hear, it sounds absolutely glorious. This dial down here lets you switch between driving modes, which alters the behaviour of things like the gearbox, the stability control and the suspension. In its comfiest mode, the ride is still pretty firm. It's a supercar, it's gonna be, but it's far from unbearable. Select a sportier setting and you're rewarded with rock-solid body control and huge amounts of grip. For a car this big, it feels really light and agile. Unfortunately, lightness is also something that applies to the steering, and not in a good way. It just doesn't have that heft that encourages you to push the boundaries of the car. And a bit more steering feel, well, if we're honest, quite a lot more steering feel, wouldn't go amiss either. The Mercedes-AMG GT isn't the definitive supercar from a dynamic point of view, but it is a very likeable and enjoyable car, and it looks and sounds like nothing else on the road. It's also pretty affordable by supercar standards, but lacks nothing in glamour or drama. If you enjoyed watching this video, then click the button below to subscribe to our YouTube channel, or leave us a comment in the box to let us know what you think. If you want to see more video reviews like this one, click the window on the top right. If you'd like to see a review of the Lamborghini Huracan, click the window on the bottom right.